You know you're going to enjoy your favorite family recipes from Thanksgiving, right? Well, the good news is there are ways you can make them a little bit healthier. We have MU nutrition professor Susan Mills-Gray here with some ways to help do that. Susan, both of our football teams lost over the weekend, unfortunately, so
yeah, it's not a good football season.
We're going to have to dive right
we'll talk about something else.
Into some talking about food. So I know a lot of our families have our traditional Thanksgiving dishes that we make. A lot of them are really heavy on the brown sugar, really heavy on, dairy, whipped cream, all the good stuff,
all the good things taste great.
That's right.
Well, I'm here to tell you that everything is okay in moderation.
Yes.
And so we do celebrate during the holidays, but we don't want to put a lot of extra weight on. The bottom line is if you can cut fat, sugar, sodium, and add some fiber to a lot of the dishes, then you're making some progress. So, So the one thing I would tell all of our viewers, and I want to say this really strongly, if you are known for a family favorite, and you are the person that makes that and you bring it.
Okay, it's like you're dedicated, that you do it every year.
Leave it alone. My Aunt Lois made a 4-layer coconut cream cake, and one year she was going to make it healthier, and it turned into about 2 layers, and it was really dry, and everybody's like, what did she do this? So keep in mind, you might be a memory for someone.
So if you are the traditional that everybody looks forward to,
leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Okay.
Now, if your whole everything on your table's that, then we got problems.
We got bigger problems.
So a
but
couple
yes.
of suggestions. Very small things make a huge amount of difference. So cut the fat. One of the ways you can do that is use low or light dairy products. So use skim milk. A great way to cook and save money is use non-fat dry milk. Make it up because it's fat-free and you're not using fluid milk, which is much more expensive.
Oh, so use the powdered milk instead of buying a gallon of whole milk or something.
Right, just keep it made up during the holiday season. Use it to cook with.
Well, that's
so you're trying to avoid things like butter and shortening. So, again, these dairy products really help that. Use sharp flavored cheeses like sharp cheddar or sharp Parmesans.
All right.
Another thing is use oil. Now, there's a couple things I've got to tell you. You can't use oil in cookies, or you'll have one gigantic cookie. So that's sort of quick breads, muffins, cakes, and things like that. For a long time, people have been trying to substitute things like applesauce or pureed prunes. Keep in mind, if you substitute all of that for the oil it calls for in the recipe, you're going to have a very pasty, thick product.
And we tried that on like a baby's first cake or something like that. We were trying to make it a little bit healthy or whatever, and it just wasn't
not good.
quite there.
So if you're going to do that, you need some oil or some fat. One way to do that is just back off by 1/4 cup. Okay. And that will still give you a good product.
And that's on those oils and the fats and the Crisco and stuff like that.
When you're trying to cut back on sugar, probably your best bet if you're going to use an artificial sweetener is a sucralose-based product. When you and I know that is Splenda. Yeah. That's its main brand name. But a thing that I want to I want everybody to remember. Sugar softens crumb, and it also allows products to brown. So if you don't use any sugar at all, you're going to have a radically different product, particularly baked products. So use some cinnamon or some nutmeg or vanilla, because the tongue picks that up as sweeter. Gotcha. And so experiment. If you want to cut cholesterol, use
egg whites?
2 egg whites instead of 1 egg, or use egg substitute. Easy way to cut salt all the time is to buy salt-free canned goods. Oh yes. And if you can't find those or afford them, just take that product and rinse it.
So is it salt-free? Because I know there's always like less salt added or no salt added or something like that. Is that what we're looking for?
But sometimes you find them and sometimes you don't. And then of course use herbs. And then an easy way to really boost your diet is to try to substitute things that are higher in fiber. So whole wheat pastas, whole wheat breads, tortillas. Substitute some whole wheat rice. If you use wheat flour, don't get really carried away. You can't take a traditional recipe that calls for all-purpose flour and use all wheat, because if you do, it'll be very dry. So only substitute about half. Oh, so go half and half with it instead of all. And one last thing I want to mention before I forget: if you're making yeast products, don't take out your salt.
Because if you do,
because if you do, it'll rise, and then it'll rise too much and it will fall.
All right, well, I'm going to have to go back and rewatch this segment before I start preparing Thanksgiving dinner. But Susan,
you can get a hold of me and I will help you.
We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Belinda.